when my family laughed while my cake hit the floor. Everything changed that night. You ever have one of those moments where time just stops? Yeah, mine was when my nephew shoved my graduation cake right off the table. The frosting splattered across the deck, candles rolling like tiny fireflies under people's shoes. And then that 10-year-old punk grinned up at me and said, "Hey, Aunt Lexi, maybe you should eat it off the ground." Everyone laughed. My mom laughed the loudest. I stood there, holding the knife I'd used to cut slices, wondering when love started sounding like mockery. I didn't say a word. I just walked off that patio, out into the Idaho dark, while their laughter followed like smoke. 1. The party that wasn't the backyard looked like something straight out of Pinterest. String lights, barbecue smoke, fake smiles from the outside. Perfect. But inside, you could slice the tension with a plastic fork. Mom, Janet, was doing her usual hostess act, floating between guests, flashing that "I'm fine, thanks" grin. My sister, Brooke, the golden child, was sitting dead center like the star of her own movie. Her son, Tyler, perched beside her, wearing that smirk kids learn from watching adults too long. Someone yelled, "Brooke, tell us about your Bahamas trip." She tossed her hair, laughed. "Oh, it was incredible. Mom insisted we stay an extra week." Mom beamed like a Hallmark commercial. "They deserve it. They work so hard." I smiled the way people do when they know they're supposed to. No one asked about my degree. No one asked about Seattle. No one cared. The cake, white frosting, blue letters that read, "Congrats, Lexi," sat abandoned at the far end of the table, half hidden behind soda cans. Every time someone reached for a drink, it wobbled a little, like even gravity had stopped respecting me. I stared at it too long, maybe because it looked like me, something nice everyone pretended not to see. Then that breeze came through. Lights swayed, and for half a heartbeat I thought, maybe this time will be different. 2. The push Tyler came running, mischief written all over his face. "Hey, Aunt Lexi," he yelled. "Mom says you only went to college to brag." Laughter, the kind that stings. Mom didn't stop him. Brooke sipped her wine like she was on some reality show. Then it happened. One shove, one gasp, one crash. My cake exploded against the floorboards. Frosting hit my shoes. A plate shattered. The whole table broke into laughter. Again, no apology. Not a single sorry. Dad didn't even look up from his phone, and then Mom said, in that sugar-coated poison voice of hers, "Oh, come on, Lexi, don't be so dramatic." That was it. I set the knife down, untied my apron, and walked straight out. Their laughter chased me down the driveway like ghosts I couldn't shake. 3. The drive. The Idaho highway stretched out black and endless, the headlights slicing through rain. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just gripped the steering wheel till my knuckles ached and kept driving toward Seattle, toward the one place I still called mine. By the time I parked, it was past midnight. My apartment was quiet, city lights reflected off the rain-soaked windows. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. For a second, I hoped, stupidly, that it'd be an apology, but the words cut sharper than glass. "We've decided to end all contact, stay away for good." And right after it, Brooke's reaction. Liked. I just stared at the screen, my reflection blinking back through the glass. 4. The numbers that broke me on the spreadsheet. 2 rows, parents' mortgage, $450 monthly, Brooke's SUV loan, $630 monthly, both co-signed by me, both on auto pay, 3 years straight. Back then, Mom said, "You're the responsible one, sweetheart, just help us out a little." It felt like love. Now it looked like a trap. Rain pounded harder outside like it was cheering for what came next. I opened a new message, typed one clean line. "I'm removing my name from all loans tomorrow." No emojis. 5. The bank. Next morning, Seattle was gray and half awake, coffee steaming. Phone blowing up. Missed calls, texts, guilt trips. Not one sorry. By 10 a.m., I was sitting in a quiet office at Evergreen Credit Union across from Mr. Navarro, a kind-eyed banker in his 50s. "Miss Price," he said, glancing over the papers I'd brought. "I think I understand. I co-signed 2 loans. They've used me for years." I said flatly, "I'm done." He nodded. "Happens more than you'd think. Family can be the hardest kind of debt." He flipped through my proof, lease, pay stubs, even an old message from Mom. The house is ours. You just helped sign. He smiled faintly. That's all we need. He picked up the phone. Let's start the co-borrower removal for Alexandra Price. Effective today. That sound, the stamp hitting paper, was louder than thunder in my chest. He handed me the finalized forms. You did the right thing, he said softly. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. When I stepped outside, the Seattle air felt like Freedom 6, the fallout. By evening, my phone was lighting up like a Vegas slot machine. How dare you ruin our credit? You'll regret this. We raised you, Lexi. I just typed back one line. I stopped paying for people who laughed when my cake hit the floor. Then I muted the chat. For the first time, silence didn't hurt. It healed. 7. The knock 3 days later, it came. The pounding. Sharp, angry, relentless. I froze halfway through dinner. The pasta hissed on the stove. Checked the intercom. Mom and Brooke, outside my apartment. Faces twisted with rage. Lexi, Mom shouted. Open this damn door. We need to talk. I didn't move. You ruined everything, Brooke yelled. The bank froze our accounts. My car's getting repoed. Mom's voice cracked. How could you do this to family? I took a deep breath, pressed record on my phone and opened the 911 app. Seattle PD, the dispatcher answered. Hi, I said quietly. 2 individuals are outside my apartment yelling and refusing to leave. I'd like to report trespassing. Do you know them? She asked. Yes, I said. They're my family, but today, they're just people ignoring boundaries. Outside, the pounding grew louder. 10 minutes later, blue and red lights filled the screen. 2 officers, 1 man, 1 woman, approached calmly. Mom pointed at my door, hysterical. She's my daughter. She destroyed us financially. We just want to talk. The officer shook his head. Ma'am, if she asked you to leave, you need to go. This is private property. She's my child, Mom screamed. And she's an adult, the officer replied. You have no legal right to be here. Brooke's tears turned into sobs. You've ruined our lives, Lexi. Through the speaker, my voice was steady. If you act like strangers, I'll treat you like strangers. The officer gave a small nod as if he understood. They left, finally. Mom's last words echoed through the hallway. Blood doesn't disappear just because you say so. Maybe not, but toxicity does. When you stop feeding it. 8. The public burn. Next morning, my phone exploded again. Not texts this time. Notifications Facebook. Big post from Mom. Sometimes the kid you help the most stabs you the hardest. Alexandra stole from her parents and destroyed our credit. Hundreds of comments, neighbors, distant cousins, even old teachers. Ungrateful. Poor Janet. She used her folks' money for her fancy Seattle apartment. I stared at the screen. Old me would have defended herself. Typed essays of explanations. This me? I just opened my work email and sent one note to HR. Subject: clarification, personal matter. Hi team, if you see rumors about me online, please ignore them. Boundaries can make some people angry. I'm okay. Thanks for your professionalism. Lexi. Then I closed the laptop. The truth doesn't need noise. It needs patience. 9. The letter. 3 days later, a white envelope showed up at my office, Evergreen Credit Union, printed across the top. Inside, 1 letter. This certifies that Alexandra Price has been fully released from all liabilities connected to the joint mortgage and vehicle loan under the names of Janet and Brooke Price, gold seal. Signed. Official. I ran my thumb along the embossed edge. The moment everything truly ended. It wasn't revenge, it was justice. That evening, Mom's Facebook post vanished. Guess the bank called. Or maybe guilt finally did. Didn't matter, I'd already moved on. 10. The message. 2 weeks of quiet passed before my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. The message read, "You'll regret this, Lexi. You think you've won?" I smiled. Not a victory smile. Just peace. Winning's not the point, I whispered. Freedom is. Outside, the Seattle skyline shimmered under drizzle, all glass and hope. For the first time, I felt weightless 11th. The calm after weeks turned into months. No calls, no guilt trips, no drama. Silence finally meant safety. Work picked up. I got promoted at Greenlight Systems after leading a project that doubled client revenue. My boss, Lydia, said during the meeting, "Lexi, people trust your steadiness. You lead with heart." For once, I believed it. My apartment filled with little things that were mine, succulents on the windowsill, soup simmering on the stove, friends who laughed with me, not at me. Marcus, my neighbor, teased, "That cactus looks just like you. Cute, but don't mess with it." We both laughed one morning. An email pinged from Mr. Navarro. He'd sent a picture of my release document framed on his office wall. "We use it to remind clients that boundaries matter," he'd written. I just smiled. For once, I wasn't anyone's safety net. I was just me, solid, whole, and free. 12. The final message. Almost a year later, a single message appeared on my phone from Brooke. "I'm sorry for everything. No excuses." 6 words. I stared at them for a long time. Then I set the phone down without replying. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reopening the door. Sometimes it means closing it gently and walking away. 13. Home. That evening, I stood by my window, watching Lake Union shimmer under the sunset. The air smelled like rain and coffee, the scent of peace. I whispered to my reflection in the glass, "Welcome home, Lexi." Because home isn't a place or a family name, it's the moment you finally stop apologizing for saving yourself. And if you've ever had to cut ties to find your peace, you're not alone.